It's been a long, long time coming, but it finally has a drivetrain in it. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Boom. Look at this. So I got everything buttoned up as far as the motor goes, except for obviously the plenum, the hoses, all that kind of stuff. But the engine and the transmission are installed. I could not be happier. I got all my pulleys, so we got the belt put on for the supercharger. I have done a lot of custom work to this bay. So I'm going to kind of show you what's going on. First off, we'll just take a look at this beautiful motor setup. So yes, I did half-ass kind of polish some of the front of the engine. But one thing I will say is it looks better than the used engine, which this is the used engine that came right from the scrapyard. So looks almost like a new motor. Almost. Not as pretty as the HR that I had, but pretty close. So check this out. I got the fuel system installed. So again, I was kind of worried about whether or not the fuel line where it came out of the firewall here, I was worried about how that was going to route, but it turned out pretty dang well. So fuel line comes out right there, comes in right here, got a little heat sleeve on it just because that area is going to get a little hot. In fact, I got a heat sleeve on lots and lots of things, including, you guys probably saw, the custom heat shield that is installed over the existing heat shield. And then just factory heat shield on this side. But as you can see, if you can see right there, I did wrap any rubber, anything that's heat sensitive now has either a blanket on it or, you know, some kind of heat protection. So here's what I'm most stoked on right here. I'll show you right now. The wiring on VQs, you guys know how it normally looks. You pop the hood open and the engine bay is just, it's a mess. It's super ugly. So right here, this is everything we're working with. That is all the wires that are going to be installed on the top. Nothing else. So if you notice, there's no giant starter wire that comes around. There's no big mess of spool of wires. And that's because I completely redid the harness. I shouldn't say redid, but rerouted, rewrapped, all that kind of stuff. So this right here goes to the starter. So the starter now wraps over the top of the bell housing around underneath the manifold and then attaches to the starter. When we get underneath the car, you guys will see there's no chance that starter wire is ever even going to get hot. It's got a ton of heat protection around it, but this is a way cleaner look, at least in my opinion. And then the alternator wire I kind of redid as well. That has a nice little heat sleeve on it. Oh, that's an ugly bracket. And yeah, I know the pump's super ugly, but some of these parts are used. Most of them are brand new. Again, this car was $2,000. We have put in about 5 to 6 times its value in aftermarket parts. So I think we're doing all right on that. But yeah, so custom wiring. I got grounds for days here. If you remember the factory grounds, they kind of come over here and attach in this area. And so we got one ground for the harness there, another ground for the harness here. And then we have a dedicated ground that runs all the way up into the battery relocation, the kind of battery bulkhead mount is what I'll call it. And yes, it's not super pretty. It's got some, electrical tape wrapped around it multiple times just so if the terminals ever touch this, they don't arc. And then this has rubber grommets between the bulkhead and where it gets installed. But this could still be grounded, which is why I got everything isolated. So rubber caps on everything. Looks pretty good to me. But yeah, and then I ran another This is another 6 gauge ground that actually wraps right around, goes into the AC compressor rear bolt, so it's actually grounding the block. I'm rambling about power and ground wires now. Anyways, we got a lot of work to do yet still. Unfortunately, I do not have the charge pipe that comes right off the supercharger, so I'm going to have to mock everything up without the charge pipe. I am going to bolt the core support on. We got a big transmission cooler we need to install. I'm not actually going to run an oil cooler right away. Reason for that, this is a massive oil pan, super high capacity. This turns it from a 5-quart system into, I think it's like a 7.5 or close to 8-quart system. That's a GTM oil pan, old school. But still got some stuff to button up on the bottom. We're going to be switching gears on the next video. Actually, I'm going to show you, and we're about to start the rear suspension. Basically how to get everything set and measured. Yes, the ugly fenders are on it with the wide body. Obviously, nothing is painted. This is that Raptor liner that I had sprayed on the last car, and these fenders are from the last car. So you guys will have to stay tuned to see what we're doing there. And yes, the lift arms are on the ground, but no, it's not going to be on a lift kit. It's going to have some nice fitment. So you guys, I'm super stoked on this. Super stoked. Stay tuned for the series because we're just going to start hammering videos out. I'm going to start to get as much as I can possibly get done on this car. And then hopefully within the next month or two, you'll see it go on the dyno. That's the hope at least. But again, everything's going to come down to this front charge pipe here. So got to wait on that, and we're going to keep moving. You guys like and subscribe to the video. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. You guys have a great day. I'm out.